Hi everyone, here is Pigeon Industry Group. So we are going to talk about palm oil as our topic today. Palm oil, also called Lake Dora, situated in the very heart of Western Australia and lies within the Kalamia National Park. Palm oil in Western Australia is a locality about 1,310 kilometers near east of Perth. Palm is located near 680 kilometers by unsailed road from Newman. The nearest more populous place is the village of Chigalong, which is 280 kilometers away within a population of around 300. The community has close ties with the mining center of Telfer, which is located approximately 107 kilometers to the northwest. It is at an elevation of approximately 247 meters above sea level. The nearest ocean is the Indian Ocean, about 350 kilometers northwest of Pammo. According to its official site, the community has a population of around 180 people.
As for the climate is classified as arid to semi-arid, with hot summers. Temperatures are often above 40 Celsius with moderately cold winters and often very cold nights. The hottest months are December and January. Lowest maximum and minimum temperatures occur in the winter months of June to August. Easterly winds prevail throughout the year. Towards the end of the year, the easterly winds prevail in the morning, give way to westerly, southwesterly, and northwesterly winds in the afternoon. The region in which Pamir lies is influenced by both the northern rainfall system of tropical origin, which are responsible for fall of rain in summer months, and also by the southern system that bring winter rains to southern parts of the state. The six wettest consecutive months of the year occur from January to June. The majority of rainfall during this period and commonly results from the cyclone which cross the coast and travel inland. Such falls are usually of short duration and high intensity.
Health. In almost every variable health statistic, Aboriginal is far worse than the Australian population at large. The most common health problems for children in the communities are skin infections, meaning boils and scabies, earaches, otitis media, gastrointestinal infections, coughs, and the common cold. Adults also suffer from coughs and colds as well as some diet-related conditions, such as type 2 diabetes and obesity, are on the rise, as people shift from eating a complete diet of forest food to one that incorporates significantly more fat and sugar. There is a clinic in each Martu community, staffed by a nurse and an Aboriginal health worker. A doctor visits the outstations every other week, and dentists and other specialists make sporadic visits. The closest hospitals are in Newman and Port Hedland, and this is where women go to give birth and where people are airlifted in the case of an emergency.
With regard to the history, when Pamir community was established in 1981, it was under harsh conditions. There was little shade and water and no access to a regular food source. However, the managerial people were driven by a determination to protect their culture and independence. And these factors are also reflected in the ongoing development of the settlement. More than 20 nurses, as well as the shop, school, community hall, undercover basketball, tourist precincts, community gardens, and office now make up the town. With considerable tree planting concentrated around the building. And as for the culture, Manigeldra means one of us or person. Traditional Manigeldra language is called Manigeldra Wanka, a Western Leather language. The Manigeldra people are the Aboriginal owners and the custodians of a vast area across the Great Sandy, Little Sandy and Gibson Desert in Western Australia. Managerial culture stretches back over thousands of years. However, it's only recently that artists have begun painting on canvas and participating in the contemporary art world. Artists from these communities create solo and collaborative works that reflect their knowledge of their country, depicting significant sites of person, culture, social, and ecological importance. Collaborative paintings by managerial artists are typically created inside large art sheds in the communities, painted art at art center during trips into town, or occasionally outdoors during specially convened art camps.
Political environment and governance. Like most other hunter-gatherers, the Martu have a largely egalitarian social structure. Women have a high degree of autonomy, often travel without their husbands, and participate in secular decision-making along with men. In everyday life, sharing is widespread, both within and between households. The title of Mutala, or good hunters, refers not only to someone who works hard and regularly brings in meat, but who also is generous with what he or she requires. While widespread sharing is prominent in everyday life, within a ritual religious context, knowledge is restricted and the power structure is largely gerontocratic. Elder men and women control information relevant to their respective ritual activities and pass this information out to the younger generation only after they have completed years of religious training and physical initiations.
So this part, we're going to talk about our topic, drought, high temperature, and wildfire, and possible related emergency scenarios. First, we list 8 possible emergency scenarios. First one, drought. Now close to water stores, water shortage, and great high temperature cause disease, and poor transportation, material shortages, and limited food lead to health problems and further difficulties in seeking medical care. And the road leading to the town will be cut off for a short time due to the nearby floods. The local medical environment of the trachoma is relatively backwards, and no planting. No independent income for the artist, and the last one, lack of cultural exchange, restricted access. So, this is the framework and methodology when it comes to the natural disaster. Our first emergency is fire. So what you want to do first is to be aware of the information. The leading cause of death in a fire is asphyxiation by a 3-to-1 ratio or burns, and the heat from a hostile fire exceeds everything to which a person is normally exposed. Fire generates a black, impenetrable smoke that blocks vision and stings the eyes. Then, prepare for a fire. Develop a family disaster plan. Home fire-specific planning should include the following. The first one, if smoke alarms are not already in place, install them outside each sleeping area and on each additional level of your home in accordance with local codes. Draw a floor plan of your home. Mark 2 fire escape routes for each room. Consider escape ladders for sleeping areas on the second or third floor. Burglar bars or locks that blocks outside window entry must be easy to open from the inside. Select a safe outside meeting place for everyone to meet. after escaping from a fire. Conduct a home fire drill at least twice a year with all members of your household. Practice alerting other household members. Practice a crawl-low escape from your bedroom, as if you were crawling under a layer of smoke. Practice evacuating the building blindfolded. Learn the emergency number for your local fire department. Teach the family members to get off first and then call for help from a neighbor's house or outside phone. Practice getting out of your home during the day and the night. So here is what to do during a fire. Get out as quickly as safely as possible. If a stove fire starts, slide a lid over the burning pan and turn off the burner. Leave the lid in place until the pan is completely cool. If you try to use a fire extinguisher on a fire and the fire does not immediately die down, drop the extinguisher and get out. If you are escaping through a closed door, fill the door cracks and the doorknobs with the back of your hand before opening the door. If you see a smoke of fire in your first escape route, use your second way out. The less time you are exposed to the poisonous gases or flames, the safer you will be. Close doors behind you as you escape to delay the spread of the fire. If smoke, heat, or flames block your exit routes and you cannot get outside safely, stay in the room with the door closed. When the window for ventilation and hang a sheet outside the window so the firefighters can find you. Once you are out, stay out. Get out first, away from toxic smoke and gases, then call the fire department from a neighbor's home or from an outside phone. What to do after a fire. So give first aid where needed, after calling 911 or your local emergency number. Stay out of the fire-damaged homes until local fire authorities say it is safe to re-enter. Look for structural damage and check all the wiring and utilities are safe. Discard food that has been exposed to the heat, smoke, or soot. Contact your insurance agent. Don't discard damaged goods until an inventory has been taken. So here is the framework of the Spain drought. So what they do is first identify the source of the impact. Draw damage procedure. So the source of the impact in Spain is the river winds and the terrain. And drought management procedure, disaster prevention is to first anticipate possible future risks, provide early warning of extreme events, and plan ahead for emergencies to minimize losses. Decision support tools and water managers reduce the risk of the system failure. Drought planning assessment level. Normality is green, and pre-alert yellow, alert orange, and the last emergency red. Analyze the difference in behavior of regulated water sources from different perspectives in different areas. The last one, implementation of the mitigation measures becomes an important tool to reduce the socio-economic and environmental impacts of the drought. Here is the Victoria's drought framework and methodology. Flexibility in responding to drought depending on the degree and impact of the drought in different regions and industries. Focus on people. through the support and the targets the welfare needs of the individual families and communities. Early and ongoing programs and incentives to help farms, business build capacity, adapt, and be self-reliant rather than providing direct business subsidies. Formal, strategic process for developing and implementing drought assistance informed by the regional and industrial leader. Principles and priorities focus area. So first, drought is a risk for which farmers and other businesses should take reasonable steps to prepare. And drought support should only be directed to those farm businesses that have taken reasonable steps to prepare. Drought assistance will be considered in the context of national drought program reforms and ongoing services provided by the Commonwealth government. And the assistance will be considered in the context of ongoing Victorian government programs that helps communities, farmers, and business prepare for the drought. The assistance should target household welfare and support communities with social and economic infrastructures. Drought assistance should avoid placing additional stress on land and natural resources during the drought. Drought assistance initiatives consistent with Victoria's new framework include 1. Mental health and well-being, including counseling support. 2. Community infrastructure and local economic stimulus. 3. Family household support. And 4. Farmer decision support. Information for farmers and business. Pest, plants, and animal management. Regional employment opportunities. 8. Rural financial counseling. 9. Skills and training. 10. Support for the community activities. And the last one, water infrastructure. So the high temperature compared to the rest of Australia, Palmu experienced exceptionally high daytime temperatures, along with far below average rainfall and humidity levels. Overnight temperatures, wind speed, and numbers of clear days are above average. Numbers of cloudy days are below average. Temperature in the wet season averaged between 28.9 and 40.6 Celsius during the day, and 15.3 and 26.1 Celsius overnight. Temperature in the dry season averaged between 25.2 and 36.9 Celsius during the day, and 10.5 and 20.5 Celsius at night. Palmu has a wet season and dry season. The wet season in Palmu begins around November and ends around May. Over the course of wet season, Palmu receives around 280.3 millimeters of rain, and by comparison, in the dry season from June to October, less than 49.3 millimeters of rain falls in total. At the height of the wet season in February, it rains on average 7.9 days in 1 month. Indeed, Palmu has experienced as much as 202.4 millimeters in a single December day, as much as 344.3 millimeters in a single month.
For this part, I will talk about some of the possible emergencies that the people lived in Palmu have had in the past. The first problem is the lack of water supply due to drought. Palmu is in the western desert of Western Australia. When the dry season comes, there is no water supply for people in Palmu. Mary was born at Palmu and lived there throughout their childhood. She is a part of the Yaparaja people who walked out of the desert to the castle town of Banyadanga in search of water after several droughts had plugged their land. The second one is the better water quality, because Pengmu community was not connected to the main town water supply, so Pengmu's drinking water resources cannot be secured. Gastroenteritis is second only to respiratory infections as the leading cause of hospitalization for infection in children younger than 2 years, with rates up to 11 times higher in the Aboriginal compared with non-Aboriginal children. Besides, due to the geographical location and a long-term higher temperature, fires often occur due to some reasons in Pengmu. Bushfire occur fairly regularly in Australia during the above-average temperatures and especially drought conditions associated with drought. The greatest areas that are burned include Australia's reglands and the North Savannas, where extensive bushfire particularly affect pastoralists and Aboriginal communities. Lightning strike is also responsible for frequent fires in Pengmu. In addition, it also caused various degrees of damage to local water tanks, buildings, and fences. The final possible emergency problem is the communication between Pengmu and outside world. The transportation environment in Pengmu is very poor, and the local residents can only walk to the place or even the city they want to go. This has led to the long-term isolation of Pengmu residents and the gradual disappearance of local culture due to the small population. And then let's talk about how design helped the Pengmu community. The groundwater tank. The 1999 NAHS survey for Round 2 recommended funding for the water supply in order to purchase and install a new groundwater tank. The water supply is faster and more, and the water is safe and unpolluted. It plays a very important role in the health of the local population. For many remote Aboriginal communities, it can be quite challenging to get children to enjoy a solid education. Reasons for this vary from an overcrowded household and a lack of management throughout, to a lack of sufficient funds to arrange for transport to local school on a day-to-day basis. Pengmu Aboriginal Community barrel train was made by Jones to raise school attendance of young kids in community. The Pengmu barrel train is a big hit with the kids, according to the Australian government. School attendance in Palabra has risen substantially since the introduction of the barrel train, stating that most of the parents within the Pengmu communities used to have difficulties getting their children to school on time and picking them up. President 1, Architecture Studio. Cooney's young architecture brings together to the diverse experience of David Cooney's and Kawa Young around a rigorous methodology of consultation and collaboration. This produces unique, innovative architecture that avoid a particular aesthetic to ensure projects are tolerant to each client, context, and budget. Health Center in Pengmu is a good example of Kunis young architecture. Also, President 2 Western Desert Emergency Isolation Project. TFA manages Penmu's community and all surrounding communities. These units are intended to assist the community's response to COVID-19, reduce the impact of increased housing occupation, and allow for individuals to isolate within community rather than be vocative to other accommodation. TFA is responsible for all the work within the community, such as land development, environmental protection, and working with other agencies to give to the local Aboriginal community help. And the third president, cooling down in the Western Desert. Penmu's summer often reach 15 degrees, so building a water park on a flat slab is better than anything. Since the first day of school, Penmu's children and adults have came down, taking their unique barrel trains to school and water parks. President 4 Fair training going sky high. In April, KG Rangers gathered at Napti mine to undertake incendiary machine operator training, a critical role in burning operations. Negrara and Kiwikara Rangers was also involved in training, which provided networking opportunities for the Rangers and promoted conversations about the collaboration on fire management across the desert. This means Rangers have more expertise to prevent and respond to local fire.
Critical analysis. Here is the initial ideas of the frameworks and the methodology we analyzed based on the Penmu's conditions. So the main cause of the Penmu's fire is geological reasons, being located inland, and the climate is extremely high and resulting in constant heat. And the only source of water is the lake, and the amount of water is affected by the seasons. And the distance from other communities and the limited access to supplies and water resources. So the initial response idea and programs and frameworks we have for Penmu is first, predicting the dry season and establishing multiple water shortage resources in the local area. 2. Cooling measures such as use the light reflective materials to build rest areas and multiple water sprinklers. 3. Material shortage depots and to cope with the blocked roads around the area. The roads and transportation facilities can be considered. 4. Health centers to prepare vaccine and medications for infectious disease in advance of special seasons. 5. Awareness measures for residents to strengthen their awareness of the fire and drought prevention, basic first aid knowledge, and emergency situations such as how to maintain personal hygiene to prevent disease transmission during the drought and prone periods, prevent children from suffering from the heat stroke and water shortage, and prevent fire caused by high temperatures. The statistics of drought periods in previous years to predict the possible future time and to inform the every household before special seasons. Thank you.